The more and more I see what's going on in the economy, I just now saw a report of black unemployment increasing to about 7.5%, which really means that it's much, much higher than that. And at the same time, this comes on the heels of your President Trump. These politicians, I tell you, man, they're pathological liars. He gets up and he tells uh, the people of the United States that the economy is booming. Did you hear that? That's what he said. It's booming, and this is the disconnect that I have been talking about for many, many, many years. These politicians, all of them, we somehow think that uh, the red team is for us and the blue team is for them, and there's no divide. But in the truth of the matter is that they're all working together, and everything that you see on TV is nothing but uh, it's nothing but a show. That's all it is. And the reality is smacking people right there in the face. And what is that reality? That reality is that a lot of people are suffering, and you're going to have a doubling of people suffering within the next year. You're going to see friends, family, stacking up like sardines. You're going to see a whole lot of more single mothers with their children in the streets. And you know why you're going to see them in the streets? Because they refuse to work with the father of their children or with a man, period. They refuse to deal with the reality and live in that state of delusion. And this is what you're going to see as well, where you're going to have. I just now recently saw a video of a woman, a sister, a black woman, chronicling or documenting her experience dating while homeless. And she shows how she washes up in Planet Fitness. It shows how she lives inside of a storage unit container or something of that nature. She shows how she eats, how she dates, and hey, and she said it on the video how people are mad at her because she makes homelessness look good. I'm quoting these people. See, when you have such a disconnect in reality, regardless of how bad the situation is going to get, a delusional person is going to act like it's good. They're going to act like this is the new come up. And that's what you're seeing more and more. Unfortunately, you confront only but so long. And what I'm seeing and noticing is that a lot more people are going dark, meaning that you don't hear from them anymore. Because if you've just watched somebody, especially on social media, you find that everything is fine, and then what they begin to do is they begin to post dreary kind of stuff, or pray for me, or this, and that, and the third, or whatever. And then after that, they drop off at all. They were very active, but then they drop off at all. And when you call them up just to see how you doing or whatever, it's easy. You just press the messenger button, and you can make a phone call right through the internet. A lot of people, we don't even make phone calls through a phone number anymore, when you can just call somebody right on Messenger and video them too. I mean, this is the world that we live in. But you see and you can discern what's going on, in their lives. And it's pretty bleak. It's pretty sad. And this is the time that is on us now. And what are the solutions? What are the solutions? I say all the time, again, again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Whether it's on the family front, or whether it's on the spiritual or religious front, I don't care what what you put it as. Uh, Families need to be, if they already haven't, need to be coming together. People need to be pulling their resources together. Um, People need to be preparing to rough it. And a lot of people, what they don't want to do, what you're saying, is that they just don't want to give it up. This is why there's only going to be a remnant. People just don't want to give up the even perception of success. See, we have a nation of people that is on social media and presenting themselves. It's like the makeup, right? When you present yourself with the makeup and then you see the mug shot of them going to jail and you see how they really look. Because, see, all of that stuff is not uh, allowed in a mugshot. They want to see you bare the way you are, without the makeup, without the hair, without the nails, without the eyelash, all that stuff, and then you see how these people really look, and it's like looking at two people night and day. It's not the same person. So this is what you have in social media as well. You have a state as to where people are presenting themselves socioeconomically to be one way, but in reality, they're not that way. They're struggling. They're struggling to pay rent. They're struggling to pay mortgage. They're struggling to pay food, put food on the table. They're struggling to pay their car notes. They're resorting to stealing and fraud. And this is what's going on. This is what's taking place. And you need to understand that this is not reality. The reality is that a lot of people, they're falling into such economic despair. Get them out of the sun. And this is the situation that you're having here. I'm all about solutions, and that's why I say wherever, first and foremost, whoever in whatever scenario that you are working with others, whether it's family, friends, brothers, sisters, communities, whatever it is that whatever configuration, neighborhoods, whatever configuration that you're working with people, you want to make sure that those people are, number one, competent, and number two, have integrity, because we've seen more and more throughout the past couple of years, even though people call themselves men or women of faith, we're coming to find after they are clearly being exposed for the lies and the hypocrites that they are, clearly being exposed now. And you're realizing that these people cannot be trusted. So this is why they have to have integrity and are competent. Because if you're dealing with incompetent people, you dealing with people that ain't got it up here. Those are some of the most dangerous people. The people that are easily tempered. They're prone to violence quick. It's so important to know them. Know them, know them, know them. Because you want people that are intelligent, competent, of sound mind. These things are very critical. And work with those individuals. And you'll be well off, because this situation has been talked about for many, 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 many years now. And now what we're seeing is it's all coming to pass. And it's not going to get any better. And we've been saying it for years. It's not about being pessimistic. It's about being real about what's going on in the economy today. The transformations that's taking place within the economy today and how it's affecting people, and as well as, not only economically, how it's affecting their mental health. You're seeing a mental health crisis in this country right now. It's happening right now. It's happening to your friends. It has happening to your family. It happened to your brothers and your sisters and your cousins and your nieces and your nephews. You see this taking place. Everybody that's watching this video right now, sees the manifestation of this economic decline, this collapse that we're going through in this country. And you're going to see things like you've never seen before, because this all was done by design. the breakup of the family, the influx of drugs, the the criminality, uh, this within a particular community and its end result, its end repercussions. Uh, you couldn't have told me 10 years ago you'd have rampant uh, black on black crime, young boys and young boys and young girls killing people, killing each other, killing indiscriminately. Don't care. Uh, you've never seen like stuff like this before. And see, what people will attempt to do is they'll attempt to marginalize a situation. It's like I was speaking to somebody yesterday, and it kind of goes like, hey, this sister, this young girl, 19-year-old girl, she gets into a immigrant's car at 2, 3 in the morning. It was in the middle of the night, and she goes to this man's house, a 19-year-old girl, and she proceeds to go into this man's house, and this man dismembers her and kills her. This turns out to be an illegal, immigrant. And anybody that's using any level of deductive reasoning and logic, because she willingly went there. Okay, it wasn't like she was dragged and beat over. She willingly went there, uh, and she came from a two-family home. And the point being that or the point that she was making is that this stuff can happen in a two-family home, and clearly we have a situation where it did happen in a two-family home. Uh, However, does that mean that we should not stress two-family or two-parent homes? Because that's what she was alluding at, that a one-parent home is just as good as a two-parent home, and that all of the crime, which is predominantly taking place, and all of the immorality is taking place from children, whether young girls or young boys, that come from single parent mother led homes. She didn't want to deal with that. Um, she wanted to deal with the exception, and hey, this is the exception. But I would even go to further to say, just because two people are married, that doesn't mean that that man is a husband, and he exemplifies and performs the act of being a true patriarch in his home, leading and guiding his home, and making sure that he's the head of this home, and that woman is in a submissive, obedient state in that home. See, it doesn't mean that just because these people out here married, that they're functioning in a patriarchal, biblical fashion. You have a lot of biological stepdads, and that's a term that I just now picked up, where they're biologically, the children are biologically theirs, but they don't have no real authority over a woman or the children. The woman decides what's going on in that house. The woman's say so is the last say so, because if it's not the case, then all hell's gonna break loose, and that man is gonna be a misogynist. He's gonna be a narcissist, and she's going to leave him, take his children, and put him on child support, because that's what's going on. But nobody want to deal with these facts. Everybody wants to put out the exception rather than the rule. They always want to gravitate towards, it can happen here, or degenerate children come from stable homes in the suburbs. Yes, that is true. However, that's not what's going on. And see, this is the disingenuous spirit that people operate in. You know why? Because they themselves are not producing anything that is notable when it comes to raising a good solid children, and being in a good solid foundational biblical marriage, because their life doesn't exemplify that at all. It exemplifies a bunch of chaos, and this is why they defend it passionately, and they want to focus on the exception as opposed to the rule. I go on and on and on, and I don't do these videos because I'm trying to get likes and shares, and people say, you only got this, that, and that. Hey, I don't do it, and I can understand that people that talk like me, much as less live like me, were very, very, very rare. I get it. 1000%. There's no one in my family on my mother's side or father's side. Now, that's a lot of people. And I can even include my cousins and their or whoever they associate with, not one of them. And you're talking about hundreds of people. I am a remnant within my generation and my family and my bloodline. You better believe it. No one lives any, nor thinks like me, nor talks like me, nor lives like me, nor um, uh, uh, eats like me, or works like me. Not one of them. Not one of them. Not to say that they're not hard workers, but they ain't doing this kind of hard work. Um, I can go on and on, but back to the, because I digress. Back to the solutions, working together with people that are like mind, precious faith, people of integrity, people that have their heads screwed on straight. Whether it's wives, concubines, I don't care what configuration it is, because we're experiencing, we're at the wheat and the how in this country. We are there. We are there. Um, and people better take this seriously. Now, a lot of people, they're not going to take it seriously. They're going to live in a delusional state. And if they want to do that, then they do that. That's no problem whatsoever. You're concerned about the people who get it. That's it. Everybody else, let them be. But yeah, you know, these unemployment numbers, if they say 300,000 or 320,000, you might as well say 600,000. It is off the chain.